And mic check 1, 2. Alrighty then. All right, folks, here we go. Coming to you live from the forested hills of the Ardennes Forest. It is round 12 of the Scorpio Superformula Series here at the majestic Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I am Scorpio Blade. Thank you all for tuning in once again. We are back from the summer break, finally. 35 days, 5 weeks. It is finally over. We are back. Following an intensely fought triple header, our drivers have finally been given an opportunity to kick back and recharge as they prepare for what is now the final 7 races of the season. Let me just get this all sorted out for you. Hello, everybody. Where was I on my notes? Of course, many, like the likes of AMS Super S2K and Adaptive Inc., aka Larson, will be looking to return to form and pick up where they left off. Some of our most dominant drives we've seen over the last, coming from those last 3 races, they'll be looking to bring those back. But of course, we have a few who might be looking to reset and go at it again, looking to potentially try to come back stronger now as we get back into the swing of things. So, coming into now what is the 7th to last round of the championship, let's take a look at our championship order. In points, including the 3 drop rounds, your top 10 in points at the moment. Super S2K sat comfortably in first place at 183 points. Nico Arigata second in the standings at the moment at 164. Ryan, aka that is AMS Drift King, he at a couple of unfortunate rounds, to be said, closing out the triple header, has dropped him off of Nico's total. He's currently sat at 153 points. From there back, it's a bit of a jump. Paymay currently in 4th place at 95 points. Philo running in the 5th place in points at 87. Larson, though, right on his heels, jumped in late, but already only 1 point back off of Philo at 86. Gramenos, that is 7th in points, 82nd on 82 points. Lester at 77, Supa at 75, and CTRK, that is Sanchez, is sat at 74. So that is your top 10 in the point standings for the time being. We are already just about 3 minutes into this 10-minute qualifying session here at the lovely Circuit de la not Circuit de la Sarthe, that's in France. We're in Belgium. This is Spa. Fantastic circuit. Amazing racing always at this fantastic, absolute driver's track. This should be incredibly exciting to see our 14 drivers go at it here today. Gramenos, I believe, though, one to keep an eye out on, feeling a bit under the weather, will be racing this this evening with a fever. So we're wishing all the best to him, hopefully a speedy recovery, and best of luck to him. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it on the track, because if you haven't heard and you're not in the the Scorpio eSports Discord, there is a lot of rain on the radar. So that should be something very exciting to keep an eye out on, as we have yet another wet race in store for us here today. Both qualifying and the start of the race should be in the dry, but beyond that, it is anyone's guess as to when and how heavy that rain coming will be. Looking further down the grid, further down my notes, I should probably mention our qualifiers at the moment, as we are approaching halfway through the session. Larson on net pole position at the moment, about a 10th and a half just shy ahead of Ryan in second. Great qualifying for him at the moment. Staying close. Gramenos, even with the fever, running in 3rd place. Good start for him. Kasman, a new signing to the Scorpio eSports team. I believe hang on, let me not get the teams confused. No, sorry, he is the Scorpio Next signing. My apologies. That is he and Gramenos, the 2 Scorpio Next drivers. Kasman running in 4th place. Alex, hello, I'm skipping over him. Kasman, also a Scorpio eSports driver now, running in 5th at the moment. Then it is Sanchez down in 6th, Supa in 7th, Ivan running 8th, Grove in 9th, Rybird 10th, though he's got a time penalty he'll be serving in a moment. Paymay running 11th, the other... no, sorry, that's not Paymay. Excuse me. I'm getting mixed up again. Quackadilly and then Nika. I've also just realized we are missing a Super S2K here today. Well, boys, this is your chance to get caught up in the championship. Door is wide open. The door is open. 19 points. Can Nico get caught back up in the championship fight here? A huge potential points day on offer for these drivers. That said, of course, this will likely go towards one of Super S2K's drop rounds, meaning he will have a finish worse than third accounted for at some point this season. So there's something for these drivers to hopefully catch up on. 6.5 minutes through this qualifying session. It is still Larson leading the way, but now Sanchez has found his way up into second place on the timing sheets. Great result for him as drivers make their way back to the pit lane for what should be the starts of their final runs here. Of course, if they can make it back to the line right before the 10-minute timer expires, they will be able to complete the lap that they are on. Should be very exciting indeed. Also at this time, I want to give a quick shout out to who is normally joining me in the booth here. Felix, congratulations, he and his partner are expecting a child, so best of luck to you guys, to you both. Wishing you all the best. Hopefully we'll be able to see you back in the booth at some point later this season. But congrats and wishing you all the best here at Scorpio eSports. Really pulling for you. Back to the action though. Larson still leading from Sanchez. No, excuse me. Ryan has jumped up only 35 thousandths of a second off of Larson. These two should be very close. It was going through a few more notes of mine here that I've been reading through. It sounds like a bunch of these Scorpio eSports drivers might potentially be a little bit down on the straights. Their setup's not quite indicative of straight line speed, so that'll be something to keep an eye out for. Sounding somewhere around the mark of about 8 kilometers an hour. Not entirely sure what that translates to in freedom units, but certainly a couple mile an hour indeed, so something to keep an eye out for if the Scorpio drivers have a few issues trying to make overtakes happen. Regardless, should be exciting nonetheless, because they will be a little bit better through the corners. So it is still Larson from Ryan, from Sanchez P3. Supa has found his way to P4. Graminos now 5th. Castman up into 6th. Payme 7th. Alex 8th. Nico running 9th. Then it's Quackadilly from Ivan, from Mike. Nico has jumped up to 9th now. And then it is, I was told how that name is pronounced. Hang on just a moment, if I can find it. Lucanyo is how that is pronounced. He is, if I can find it, he is a reserve driver who's jumped over to the Superformula series from our partners over at Balkan Sim Hub. So, welcome to him, new face in the server. Should be exciting to see what he can do out on track. Other reserve drivers at the moment, Scorpio Alex, that is RR Alex in game. He is also a reserve driver. Trying to scroll through here. The rest of these, Rybird, are you in here? I thought Rybird was in here. Might not be. He is not, never mind. I think we've also lost someone to internet connection, potentially. Or did Payme? Nope, Payme is there. I'm not entirely sure who we lost. Either way, session has expired, so this will be it for people's qualifying laps. Payme, purple sector, to open the lap. Good start for him. Ryan making his way through on a lap at the moment. Why don't we ride on board with him here as he makes his way down through Puan. Completely flat out with his setup. Incredible speed. A reminder, as you can see the overtake button in the bottom corner, these drivers not allowed to use the overtake button in qualifying despite the horsepower boost. That is to make sure everyone is on a fair advantage, keep it a little more realistic to real life. He's 36 thousandths of a second up. If he can match his final sectors to his previous fastest lap, he could be on for pole position here. Can Ryan find his first pole position since Germany, back at the Nürburgring GP circuit? He's got one chicane to do it here. Adaptive is already in the pit lane, so he's not going to have a shot at it. If Ryan can find the time, coming up to the line, no, he's going to lose it in the final sector. So Ryan will start second, or no, he won't start second. He's got a 3-place grid penalty from an incident last time out. Nico finds the time though, 51.817. Purple sectors throughout. My goodness, where did that lap come from? I apologize, I completely missed it. What a lap from Nico. Supa has found his way into 5th. Alex will now be 6th. Cashman 7th. And that will do it here for qualifying. My goodness me, I completely missed Nico. So, starting order for the race here. It will be Nico from Larson, your top 2. Ryan qualified second, but will now... no, he started... What am I saying? Was third, is now going to be starting 6th, I believe. So we'll wait for the order to get put back in. And it looks like we've got to clear out a couple randoms who are joining the lobby. We will await the session to get resorted with the proper grid order. In the meantime, couple rulebook reminders for everyone, as of course we've been off the air for a few weeks now. Opening lap, we do have a custom damage rule set for the drivers to adhere to. If anyone acquires damage on the opening lap, they can come into the pits and serve it immediately as normal. But any front wing damage can always be repaired as normal in-game, as that is a relatively quick change. But any rear wing or suspension damage that drivers acquire will be 30 seconds apiece. Time penalty that they need to serve in the pit lane before they can rejoin the circuit. That is to help simulate how long it would take for parts to be repaired. Obviously, in real life, it would probably take a little more than just 30 seconds per part. But regardless, just something to make the racing a little more closer. And then, of course, if a driver picks up terminal engine damage, where did that come from? If a driver picks up terminal engine damage, they are just out of the race. I've failed to mention that a couple times in the past, and I do apologize about that. Looks like starting grid is still actively being set. Mandatory tire compounds to be used, of course, are your typical soft and medium race tire to be used. That is, of course, assuming the race stays dry, which, by the looks of the radar that we've seen in the Discord server, I highly doubt it. We will most likely be seeing the intermediates on all of these drivers at some point, potentially even full wet tires. The severity of the rain is up in the air, as is when it will show up, so it will be entirely up to the drivers to figure it out. We'll take a look really quickly at the in-game radar, see if anything shows up. Might also be waiting for our lobby host to implement the weather settings, though, beforehand. Yeah, that radar is kind of useless, isn't it? Anyway, worth a quick check. So let me just make sure I've been through all of my notes. Ryan's 3-place grid drop. I've been through the championship standing. Yeah, that should be everything. So we will just wait on the final starting grid, and then if the lobby settings need to be updated for the weather. But other than that, we should be ready to go. So, starting grid for today's running. It is Nico from Larson. Sanchez has now been promoted up to P3. Supa now 4th. Alex into 5th. Ryan will start 6th thanks to that grid penalty. It is then Kasman starting 7th. Gramanos starting 8th. Peme will start at 9th. And then Ivan will round out our top 10. Quackadilly will start in 11th. It is then... Oh, I'm already forgetting the dude's name. I apologize. Lookinyo is starting in 12th. Grove starting 13th. And it was Rybird who, disconnected from the session. He is starting 14th. Rybird, as I was trying to mention in qualifying before I lost him, he is a Superformula Lights reserve. So he's made a few starts in the main series in the past, so he should be all good to go. And it is Nico on pole. All right, session is going live, and we will be green flag in just a few moments, folks. Round 12 of the Scorpio Superformula Series. Coming to you now. I can get spectate going. All the drivers will be looking to make a clean start here. A very tight hairpin at the source that all of these drivers will need to contend with. Should be very exciting indeed. As the lights come on, 5 lights. And we are underway, and it is a great start from both of our front row sitters. Ryan already making great headway as Nico comes over to the right-hand side, or left-hand side, excuse me, to cover off Larson, as they will all now charge down the main straight up through Eau Rouge, completely flat, easily flat in all of these cars. Very fast section, and Ryan already getting up into 4th place, 3 wide, as there was trouble in the back. One car got spun around over the crest of the hill. Ryan immediately, great start for him, up into 3rd place. Supa looked up the inside, nothing doing there. And it is Larson still hounding away at the rear bumper of Nico Arigata up front. We will take a look at the replay in a moment to see what happens on coming up through Eau Rouge in just a moment. But it is Nico from Larson. Ryan already back up into 3rd place where he actually qualified. That grid penalty meant nothing to him. 2 corners and he was already back up into the top 3. Supa already onto his back bumper. Super S2K, nice to see you in the chat. Supa running 4th, Sanchez 5th. Kasman up into 6th place, good start from him. Alex down into 7th. Ivan, good start for you, up into 8th. Peme running 9th. Quackadilly 10th. Mike running in 11th, and then it is Lucanyo running 12th. Rybird has jumped up to 13th, and then Gramanos with the rear wing damage obviously got spun around coming up through Eau Rouge, now in 14th. He will be able to pit for repairs here, though. No time penalty for that with the damage, and it doesn't look like anyone else has taken any. So it is Nico leading the way, already about a second ahead of Larson, and it is Ryan with a fantastic start to get back up into 3rd place, a position he's been very familiar with running so far this season. He'll be looking to capitalize on a few missing entries here today, potentially going for that win. Can he bring the battle to Larson? Sitting about 1.5, 1.6 back from them as they climb their way up over the hill. The driver's got to be careful about track limits, though. Can't be cutting too much of that curve at the top of the hill. So Ryan The top three begin to settle in. Top four, excuse me. Sanchez, no, also got a sizable gap. It is Alex and Cashman, the next two closest together on track. Cashman running that 87 machine, looking to get up the grid in that Lotus themed livery, I will say. Making his way around the track as he will try to close in on his teammate, or stablemate, I should say. One a Scorpio Next driver, the other a Scorpio eSports driver. Ivan following both of his drivers, back in 8th. Mike has climbed up to 9th. It looks like Quackadilly has dropped back, though he is running on the medium compound tire. That could be why. And then Lucanio running in 11th for the moment, so he'll be looking to make some positions up on those soft tires potentially. Back up front, Nico still leading from Larson. That gap coming down by a couple tenths here. And then Ryan has closed in by quite a bit here on this second lap here. 43 lap race here today. Lap times looking around to be just about, yep, you can see there, 152.3 lap from Ryan. Actually, I don't think that 52 is quite entirely accurate. As Larson actually has a great run, abusing the overtake button. He's going to look to the outside here. Nico defending. It's not going to matter. Larson's going to blow by, draining the overtake. He's already used a third of it. Well, you know, only 2 and a bit laps in, Larson. Jeez. Either way, it's given him the track position. He is up into first. And then it is Nico who will now follow behind in second. Both drivers on the top 3, all on the top 4, 5, 6. Okay, so a bunch of the front runners all on the soft compound tires. Quackadilly, first one on the mediums. Looks to be only Quackadilly and Rybird on the medium tires. So I would assume people will be expecting rain here fairly soon. Larson now into clean air, already looking to pull about a second lead over Nico. Both of them pulling away a little bit from Ryan, who has dropped back to about 1.7 further back. Ryan actually using a little bit of overtake already, trying to keep up with the front two. Through Longchamp they go, and down into the bus stop chicane to complete lap number 3 here at Spa. Top 3 all settling in here as they will get ready for the inevitable rain. Supa is starting to come under attack from Sanchez. This now a brewing battle for 4th as Alex starting to close in the number 40 machine. Alex has pulled away from Cashman further back. About a 1.3 second gap now between those two. There's now a 3-way battle for 4th place. Sanchez on the overtake button, looks to the inside, gets there for Supa. Going to be side by side still, coming down into the braking zone here at Les Combes. Sanchez will get through clean. Alex has to go and try to save it. He tried following Sanchez through up the inside of Supa. Didn't quite make it work. So now they will have to sit through inline through Rivage. Now down through No Name and down the hill toward Pouan. A flat-out corner we saw in qualifying. Are they going flat out here now in the race? No, they do need to left, at least in the dirty air. But the two Germans now settling in behind Supa. They'll be looking to size him up if he keeps dropping places. Sanchez already starting to pull a gap, 1.3 over Supa, and you can see the dark clouds starting to form overhead. That rain is on its way. Ryan has closed back in, back under 1.2 seconds to the, or to Nico, excuse me, up in front of him. Wow, the haze is really starting to fall over the circuit here. Cloud cover rolling in thick and fast. Frankly, I would be expecting rain here in the next 2, maybe even 3 laps if cloud cover comes in at this rate. At the start of this lap, it was still blue skies. 1.1, under a second now. Ryan closing in on Nico. Good exit out of the source for him. Climbed the hill very well. Gearbox has been set up nicely to keep it in the power range as he crests the hill. It's a great launch out of Radeon. And now we'll look to try to stay as close as he can through this very technical, very elevation changed middle sector here. Nico perhaps running a little bit of a wider line through Ravage. That's interesting to see. Not quite getting up to the curb. He's now back under 1.2 to Larson in front of him. Ryan has had a pretty poor couple of corners. He's dropped back to over 2 seconds now. So perhaps Dirty Air just unsettling his car a little bit more than he was anticipating. Now that the race has calmed down, let's go see if we can try to get a look at what happened on that opening lap. This was, if we can find, I believe it was it Quackadilly? We're going to find out here in a moment. No, it was further up ahead. It was Gramenos got loose, so we're going to try to see that again. Gramenos already in the pits, I apologize. So he tucked up underneath the rear wing of Castman here. It was Alex got a bit sideways, got everyone checked up, and then it was just an accordion effect. What a shame. And so Gramenos now evidently has picked up front wing damage. He is now in the pits, and I would imagine will be retiring from the session given how long he's been in the pit lane. That's a shame. Back up front, Larson still leading now with a 1.4, nearly a 1.5 second gap over Nico. Ryan has begun to close back in. Sanchez still running second, and it is side by side. Alex on Supa under the brakes. Alex will get the move done. Glad we cut back to this in time. Alex now back up into 5th place. Good showing from him. Going to make his way down into... I'm missing corner names. This is no name here. Oh, and it's a snap of oversteer. Oh, no. Commentator's curse. He has taken heavy damage. Front wing and suspension gone. It's going to be 30 seconds minimum in the pit lane to repair. He's got to hope that rain shows up now. He needs the rain to come thick and fast now if he wants any chance of salvaging this. Otherwise, he's probably going to need to pit a couple times in just the next couple laps. What an absolute shame. And I don't think I caught that replay in time. Not that we really need to see it again, but man, that's so unfortunate. Back up. Further up the grid, excuse me. Supa now back up into 5th. Castman still running in the 6th place position. And then it is Ivan from Grove now 7th and 8th. You can see just how much haze and cloud cover has fallen over this circuit. The rain is definitely on its way. As we look back to see, Alex has stayed out. He stayed out. He's going to try to brave it out until the rain. Going to need to be careful here, though, with that suspension damage. And you can see he's taken a very wide line through Eau Rouge. And he's going to continue to lose quite a lot of time here. Down on the straights. Yeah, about 10 mile an hour down on the straights now because of that damage. And, of course, he won't be keeping up in the corners. He's now got Quackadilly and Lucanio closing in. Rybird running 12th at the moment, and then Payme. Not entirely sure what happened to Payme, but he is back in 13th. And no, Gramanos will be rejoining the race on the intermediates. And he will coast the car now. I'm not entirely sure. And nope, he is disconnected from the session. So that is one car out of the race already. Larson still top three, about 1.7 between all three cars. Well, that's not first to third. That's first to second to third. Each have about 1.7. The gap. Sanchez, it looks like, is actually closing in a little bit here. So this could, if he can stay close, we could be on for a four-way battle here. Sanchez, of course, ran very well at Le Mans. Which was also a wet race, so he could be a bit of a dark horse to keep an eye out on. Supa looks to be falling back into the clutches of Kassman, closing in on him. Ivan has also been maintaining the gap to the driver in front. And then Mike Grove has been following in as well, close behind. So Alex still trundling around with the damage. He's lost about 2.5 seconds to Quackadilly on that previous lap, and Quackadilly on the mediums. So that really gives you a comparison to just how much damage Alex is having to deal with at the moment. We'll take a look back up toward the fronts. Ryan closing in a little bit on Nico here, who has also in turn closed in a little on Larson. Though not quite as much. Top four all seem to be pretty evenly matched here in terms of pace at the moment. Everyone just kind of waiting it out at the moment until the rain begins to show. For the folks at home looking to also keep track of whether or not there's a bit of rain on the circuit, you'll notice down in the bottom left corner next to the race timer, we've just passed the 15-minute mark. In between the timer and the tire wear indicators, that is your on-track moisture indicator. Once you start to see a little line appearing on that bar, that is when you'll know we have rain falling on the circuit. Of course, that moisture indicating following where the individual driver is on track. So come later in the race, if the rain eventually does clear out, you'll see that when they're on the dry line, it's as it is right now, completely empty. But if they get up on the curb like Nico just did here, you might see it spike up because there's water trapped in the curbs. Which will also mean that drivers have to keep an eye out, because if they're running on slick tires, they will be thrown for quite the curve if they lose the back end of these cars. Certainly a very easy thing to do. This was quite the trouble corner I noticed in practice as well, No Name, once the rain started to fall. Drivers using all the track limits they can. Very tricky to keep it together through that section, especially on a drying circuit. So Larson now starting to pull away a little bit from Nico, who's in turn also dropping back a little bit toward Ryan. Tire wear definitely starting to kick in a little bit here. Of course, they'll be hoping that these soft tires can last until the rain starts to fall. If the rain doesn't fall, the driver in the best position at the moment might be Quackadilly, the only one running on the medium tires. 28 seconds back from Larson, so he won't inherit the lead, but he will certainly be brought a lot closer to the leaders if they need to end up hitting twice because they can't make it to the rain on their soft tires. And speaking of into the pit lane, Ivan into the pits. Now this will be something to keep an eye out on. Does he go for a set of dry weather tires here? Or does he pit for intermediates? Alex is into the pits as well. We'll watch this on exit here, and he will be out onto the inters. He is expecting rain any moment. Rain on this lap, predicts Ivan. Alex with a bit of a delay there. I don't believe he took any fuel. I'm hoping that's just a bit of desync. He is also out on the intermediates. And there is rain on the circuit. You can see it on the bar graph in the bottom left. Larson is running in damp conditions. Now, it is not heavy enough rain at the moment to necessarily need to go immediately onto the intermediates. But if they are expecting this rain to pick up very heavily, it could be something that they need to watch out for. And of course, with how large of a circuit this is one of the largest tracks we go to on the calendar. It could only be raining in one particular section of the track. I mean, you can see here, it is now, the track's back to dry. It is full dry weather conditions here from the bus stop down through La Source and Eau Rouge. It's only when you get back to Les Combes it starts to get a bit wet. So keep an eye on the graph. The leaders have all stayed out for the moment. Does anyone else jump into the pits yet? No. Kasman stays out. Mike stays out. Does Supa jump into the pits here? He's got front wing damage. He is going to come into the pits. Wackadilly will stay out. Given he's on the mediums, that's probably the right call for him. Supa is still making his way through into the pit lane. Lucanio now into the pits as well. Ivan running the inters, of course, stays out. Paymay on dry weather tires has caught up to Ivan. We'll be looking to make an overtake here. As we will watch what happens here with Supa. Does he go onto the inters? He does. More drivers pitting. Alex back into the pits. I think he might be retiring, folks. What a shame. Larson still out on his soft compound tires at the moment. Nico has closed in quite a bit, though, on this lap. Back under 2 seconds. He's gained about 6/10 on that previous lap. Ryan still holding about 1.6 back from Nico. Sanchez has dropped about a second to Ryan, though. We'll look back down the grid. Is anyone involved in any weather back here? It doesn't look like it. Potentially just a small shower, and that was it. The rain has come and gone. Or at least that first shower has come and gone. Will there be any more? Or have these drivers all jumped the gun onto the inters? That could be devastating for Ivan and all those drivers if the rain doesn't show up yet. Going to be burning through those tires big time. You can see raindrops on the ground, but for some reason the indicator's not showing up on anything. Very strange indeed. Mike and Kasman into the pits. We'll see what they do here for strategy. Oh, Kasman's picked up damage! Where did Kasman pick up damage from? And it is raining in the pit lane! I said we saw the raindrops falling on the circuit, but there was nothing on the indicator. Well, it's showing up now. Mike's gone straight to wets! It is far too early for wets. I mean, if you look at the bottom corner, that first bar that you see that the indicator is climbing to, that's where the transition to intermediates tends to take place. It's not until you get to that second bar above it that you need to start thinking about wets. What has Mike done? Why the heck have you gone to wets? Payme is staying out. It is still dry, just about dry enough for the dry weather tires to still work. Oh, those wet weather tires are going to shred if he is not careful. Yeah, you can see just the lack of grip he has on those very grooved tires. He's going to fight on the inside of Payme, a little bit of contact. Payme's going to just go around the outside of him, though. But now we're starting to get a bit closer to needing those intermediates. Do they jump into the pits? Yes. All three of our top three now jumping into the pit lane. Top four, excuse me, are all now into the pits. And you can see we are just now getting to that first bar. Intermediate tires should be the call here, unless there is an absolute spike in this cell here. Impending very heavy rain. Payme has stayed out once again. Payme, of course, was the one who won Le Mans, which was another race in very similar conditions to this. Nico and Ryan have both gone to full wets, as has Sanchez. Larson might have just taken a gamble going on to the intermediate. This is the difficulty of not being able to have a radar that I can look at as the commentator. I don't know what's coming next. My only indication as to how heavy the rain is going to be is what's on that bottom bar. And from what I'm seeing, it is certainly nowhere near ready for full wet tires. So Larson will be looking to use this grip advantage that he has for now to try to get away from these drivers on the full wets. Mike is on... Yeah, alright, so second through fifth are all on full wets. Ivan is on intermediates, as is Quackadilly, as is Supa. Rybert is on inters. Payme has gone to full wets. So most of our most recent pitters, drivers who have pit, are now all on the full wets. Larson is the only one in that group who hasn't. This could be very interesting indeed. He's already pulled about 8/10 on this lap alone. But you can see that water indicator is still climbing. And the closer it gets to that second bar, the better off that drivers like Nico and Ryan are going to be. Does Larson jump into the pits for full wets, or does he think he can hold out? You can see just how much spray these drivers are now starting to kick up here. Still just about holding on with those intermediate. It's going to get very dangerous if it keeps climbing any more than this. Larson needs it to hold at just about here if he's going to continue to hold his tire advantage with those intermediates. And you can see every time he gets up on the curb, it just spikes up a little bit higher. Those curbs really holding the moisture. These drivers will need to be very careful. Nico has started to close the gap now. Realistically, Larson wants it to start drying out now. There's starting to become just a little bit too much water for those tires to handle. The full wets, despite my reservations about it just a couple laps ago, are starting to come into play here. And you can see just how quickly Nico is closing in every single corner. Not necessarily on the entry to No Name there, but he is, yeah, and we are at that second bar now. It is full wet conditions. Larson is going to need to baby that throttle every single time he tries to apply the power. Half a second between these two drivers. You could see just how much he's having to crawl to try to hold on. The inters just simply cannot shed away enough water to be competitive. And there goes Nico around the outside. What a move, by the way. Up into the lead of this race. And you can see that bar is now starting to become blue at the very top. Does Larson jump into the pits, or does he think he can wait it out? How long will it stay full wet conditions? Now Ryan will start to close in on them as well. So looking back down the grid. Oh, hold on a minute. Ivan, I think, has had a problem. And he has. Ivan, no. Ivan, yet another driver who's ripped off their right front suspension. Front wing damage as well. He's got the intermediates on, so that was most likely why. But Ivan has dropped way back. Castman, who followed Ivan in, he's going to need to, both of these drivers will likely need to pit for full wet tires, as in Lucanio. Alex is now trundling around on intermediates, almost 2 minutes behind the leaders. What an absolute shame. Adaptive looking to hold on. Still braving it out on the intermediates. But you can see just how quickly he's losing time to the drivers around him. I will say, though, doing a very impressive job to hold on to it at the moment. But how long will this heavy rain last? Ryan looks to be closing in pretty rapidly here. Oh, Larson with a big snap of oversteer. How the heck did he save that? Wow! Completely lost the back end going through not Blanchimont, that is Stavilo. Oh my goodness! How did you save that? We're gonna wait and see if he jumps into the pit lane here before cutting to a replay of that. Oh, he's gonna stay out again. Oh dear. Oh my god. Alright, well, let's take a look at this replay. Gonna ride on board with him as he comes through. Coming through Stavilo. Does he get up on the curb? No, it's just a little bit too eager on the throttle. He's got so close to that inside wall. What a save. Now up through Eau Rouge. Can he hold on to it? He does. Just. Sanchez looked like he got a little bit wide going through Radion. He's still fine. And Ivan has retired from the session. That's a shame. A horrible outing it looks like for the Scorpio eSports group. Just unfortunate seeing how much they just struggling with these wet weather conditions. Ryan with another big snap of oversteer. Still sitting about 2.7 behind Nico in the lead. This is the kind of day that Nico has been needing for quite a while. I said some drivers will be looking to reset and come back stronger after the summer break. Well, so far, Nico absolutely has. 3-second lead on the field and hasn't put a foot wrong yet. And a highly impressive qualifying lap got him on pole position. Lost the lead to Larson as Larson was burning through his overtake. Nico looks to be sitting pretty at the moment as we got through probably about a third race distance now. Or yes, we are past the third race distance now. As Nico will cross the line to start lap 17 of this event. It looks like a couple drivers exiting the pits at the moment. Lucanio out in 12th place. He's now out onto the full wet. He couldn't hold on to it any longer. Alex, the next driver ahead of him, only 9.5 seconds up the road, and Alex is on full wet, so Lucanio should be able to catch him. Of course, he will need to concede position to Nico here, who will be getting blue flags in a moment. Nico has absolutely rocketed away here. It wasn't even a lap ago that he was only 2.7 ahead of Ryan. I think Ryan might have had a bit of maybe a small spin come through the source potentially, but he dropped back quite a ways. Now Nico's going to get held up a little bit by Lucanio here, who does now get out of the way for the blue flags, but probably about half a second, maybe a second lost there though. So we'll see what the stewards have to say about that post-race. But it is still a 3.5 second lead, just about over Ryan. Holding on to it for now, so props to him. Keeping it on the road, that's all he can really do at the moment. He'll hope to try to close in on Nico, but he's got half as much overtake to use eventually. I've been informed he had a 3-second lag jump, so that's a very unfortunate thing to happen. That would explain why time gap grew as much as it did. Sanchez running in third place, another further 6 seconds back off of Ryan. And then Larson, who had gotten up into the lead earlier in the running, now sits probably getting up to about a pit stop behind Nico here. Sitting about 21, 22 seconds. Oh, yellow flag is out. Oh, and it's looking. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness they ghosted or whatever the heck just happened. Boy. I thought Sanchez was just about to T-bone him. Holy. Adaptive is into the pits. Let's take a look, see what happened there. To Lucanio. Probably, I'm assuming, just lost the back end. Yeah, and he did. Lost the back end trying to get on power coming out of the bus stop. And then it's just, oh, what a very lucky that collisions weren't detected on that rejoin. My goodness. That could have been dangerous. Fortunately, no damage, no contact for either of them. Somehow, I don't know. But Sanchez still about 6 seconds off of Ryan, and is now about 30 seconds clear of Larson, who, fortunately for him, hasn't lost any positions to anyone on track in that pit stop cycle. Of course, everyone behind him pit very early onto intermediates or full wets. Grove, of course, the first one to pit onto the wets. Fair enough. I was very hesitant on why the heck he would go for full wet tires that early. And you know what? Props to him. It worked out. If he can hold on to fifth, this will easily be his best finish on the season. And he's got a 22-second lead over Rybird at the moment, so it's looking like a very real possibility. Could be a great points day for Mike at the moment. Speaking of, Rybird running in sixth at the moment, still on the intermediates. Still on the intermediates, despite everyone else seemingly pitting onto the wets at the moment. Quackadilly also on the inters. Supa's on the inters, but has also picked up damage. He will now concede that position to... no, he did not concede that position. He is actively fighting Cashman for it. A snap of oversteer for good measure. Both of these drivers trying to hold on to their intermediates despite all the standing water on the track. It is a very entertaining battle to watch out of these two. Cashman, though, no damage on circuit. So he should be able to still out-corner Supa here. Oh, and Supa's gone very wide with that damage. Just unable to take the corner at the speed he realistically needs to. Nearly a little bit of contact on exit. But Supa will concede that position as he was well off the track prior to Cashman going through. Further back, Alex is now getting the blue flags from Nico, who's now gone through. Nico actually lost about a couple tenths to Ryan, who's closed in a little bit, still pulling away from Sanchez. Good laps from him. Wasn't faster on the previous lap, but has definitely brought it down. I would assume that's because of the lap traffic, though. So 6.3 the gap now between the two leaders. So, we've come and gone through this phase of heavy rain. It is still very wet out on circuit, but it does look like it is very slowly starting to dry out. And given the fact that we are still not even at halfway, do we see a return to the dry tires? Potentially? We'll have to wait and see. Do also want to give mention, as I'm sure our viewers back at home might have seen in the stream chat, Ivan retired not because of a mechanical issue, but because of internet failure. So highly unfortunate for him. Was on for what could have been a very decent finish still. And he does make a good point. Mike is making great time on that setup he's been supplied from the Scorpio group. So good to see Mike running such a strong race today. We wish you were racing too, Super S2K. Hope to see you back in a couple weeks' time. Actually, we'll go give a quick calendar update while we have a little bit of a lull in the on-track activity. Everyone a bit spread out at the moment. Only 11 drivers still left in the running on this. Is it a 5 or 6 mile circuit? It's a long one. Either way, take a look at the calendar. Up next after today. Oh dear. Lads, if you think this track is big, just wait for September 13th. We're going to the Nürburgring again, but not the GP circuit. It's the Nordschleife. The Green Hell. 14 laps around that ginormous circuit in the German countryside, through the Eifel region. Oh boy, that will be interesting. 14 laps around what should probably, I think it might end up being a one-shot qualifier, because their drivers are only going to, if it's a 10-minute session, they're only going to be able to get one flying lap in. That will be incredibly exciting. So tune in here on the Scorpio eSports channel, September 13th, 3 p.m. Eastern, as all the best of the best go take on the Green Hell, as it's nicknamed, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, home of production car lap records, and a place that I don't think has seen open wheel cars as fast as this ever in its real life history. So I suppose we'll see just how quick it can get to that 919 Evo lap time from a few years back. That should be incredibly exciting. And of course, extremely treacherous. Extremely narrow, extremely undulating circuit. That'll be quite the spectacle to watch, just from a sheer perspective of survival. Highly entertaining event indeed. And then after that, more Turn 1 shenanigans, anyone? We are off to Monza on September 27th. That will be round 14. Round 15 takes us to the final round over in the United States. Watkins Glen will host on October 11th for a 55-lap event. That will be exciting to watch. And then the final 3 rounds of the season heading down to Sao Paulo and Interlagos for our trip down to South America. Should be incredibly exciting. Always puts on a great race, that track. Will be very exciting. And then rounding out the season, two of Gran Turismo's famous fantasy tracks. High Speed Ring, practically an oval, given the fact that it is all left-hand turns apart from one right-hander. That'll be a very exciting track to watch indeed. Extremely high speeds, lots of slipstream battles expected for that one. I'm personally very much looking forward to that one. High Speed Ring, I think, will be one of the best races on the calendar. And then after that, December 6th, the season finale takes us to Tokyo Expressway East. I can't say I'm familiar with it. Again, I'm still less than a year new to this game. So I'm still learning my way around most of these tracks, these fantasy tracks anyway. But that should be incredibly exciting. There won't be any track limits penalties on that one, I can guarantee you that. But I would expect gamer survival with just how... Oh, Mike, save it! Oh my gosh! I look back up from my phone just at the right time as Mike nearly loses it. Yellow flag is out. Where is that on track? Oh, it's Lucanio has had a bit of a spin over at Lake Com. Yes, Tokyo should also be a bit of a slipstream madness. Let's take a quick moment to look back. What the hell just happened with Mike? I'll just give me a moment. I'm going to wait to make sure that lap cars here give way to Sanchez and do. Okay, let's go take a look at that replay, shall we? If I can find Mike, here he is. Alright, so coming up through Rouge and Radion here. Kiss the curb, misses that one. Oh, but just a huge snap of oversteer. How close do you like it to the wall? Oh my lord! I gotta watch that back, hang on. Different angle this time. How close was that? Up the hill. Snap of oversteer. He definitely got the wall. Wow. What a save. What a save. Incredible. Larson's into the pits. Oh, Larson! Larson has absolutely destroyed the car. What? No, it's already happened. Oh, no. I was so caught up in Mike's, I completely missed. Oh, no. Now, I think that might have been 3 corners of suspension plus a rear weight. Larson's out. That's 2 minutes of repairs. Oh, dear. A horrible end to his day. Came into this race 1 point off of the top 5 in the championship standings. Has been on an absolute tear. That is a return from the summer break to forget. Oh my gosh. I apologize, folks. I was so caught up on that miraculous save that Mike had. I just completely missed what happened to Larson there. Oh, dear. I've also just noticed, track is very quickly starting to dry out here. And Ryan has closed in at a rate of knots over the last couple of laps. Yeah, lap 22, he gains, well, I believe that's like 7/10 on Oh, yeah, he gained like half a second on Nico alone there. Ryan is closing in pretty quickly. And I would imagine we're starting to get to the crossover point. Not to dries just yet, though there is definitely a dry line forming. And I would imagine these drivers are looking to try to take it right to the dry tire period. We gotta wait for this. Excuse me. We gotta wait for that water indicator to drop below that first bar before they can start thinking about it. But you can see just how much time they're spending offline, trying to keep those tires cool while they wait for this dry line to be ready. We are getting close to going back to dry weather tires. Nico, or not Nico, sorry. Ryan on the overtake. Looking to close the gap. Nico managed to pull away a little bit through that. I gotta pull the track map up again. I was looking at points. Heavy rain incoming, says Ivan in the chat. So we're not quite done with the rain just yet. Nico pulled away a little bit at the back half of that lap through the Fania chicanes and Stavilo. Managed to claw that gap back up to about 2.7 now. But Ryan has closed it. Remember, he was over 6.5 seconds back not too long ago. If I can find what? Yeah, lap 22, Nico ran a 2-minute 10. What on earth happened on that lap? Yeah, he lost 4 seconds on lap 22. Man, I'm completely sorry I was so caught up with Mike's save, because I've missed Nico having an incident somewhere that he lost 4 seconds. And I also missed Larson completely binning the car. Very strange. Mike is into the pits. Yeah, those tires were probably about done. Question is, does he go to a set of intermediates if there is indeed more rain coming? Or does he try to brave it on dries? My voice is starting to go. I'm yelling too much. He is on dries. Out onto the soft compound. Why is he so slow out of the pits? Very slow out of the pit lane. Very strange from that AI. Either way, out of the pits, onto the dries. He's got to be careful here, though. Cannot afford to get up onto the curbs. And another snap of oversteer like we saw a few laps ago would absolutely ruin his chances. So out on dries, he should pretty easily run away from... that was a lap car behind him, so never mind on that. Nico has clawed the gap back up to 3.6. How long can these two make their wet weather tires last for? I'm surprised Nico isn't offline trying to cool the tires like you can see Ryan is. You can see him offline, as is Alex in the background there. The reason why they're doing that, staying off the racing line, they're picking up a lot of the standing water. And so they're doing that to try to help cool their tires down, which helps maintain these wet weather tires for just a little bit longer. You see a little bit better tire wear, and it allows them to go a bit longer if need be, as well as it should help them keep a little more grip in their car. Of course, these cars being as high downforce as they are, not necessarily a difficult task to maintain grip, but certainly any advantage these drivers can find will help. So that's why you see him jumping back to the racing line at seemingly very late moments. Just running offline down the straightaways where he's not going to lose much more time. Pick up any water he can find. As you can see here, he's actually increasing the distance he's traveling to find water. But it's allowing him to keep relatively close here. And we can somewhat see that in his tire wear. It's very marginal between the two, as Nico has a bit of a snap of oversteer, on exit. It is a marginal difference, but Ryan is seeing slightly better tire wear than Nico at the moment. Ooh, very wide through Eau Rouge and Radion, though. Lucky not to risk any issues. Actually staying on the racing line this time. Nudged back over to the middle of the track and gains quite a bit of time. Nico had a big trouble through Les Combes there. Lost a couple of tenths. Ryan is finding time for now. And we are definitely into dry weather conditions if they were to keep it within the cattle tracks, as it's called. Although Nico has now found a bit more time through Pouan and down through. And there comes the rain again. Oh my goodness, that was a spike of rain. That's why. I see what you were on about, Ivan. You could see it there. Back in this latter half of the lap here. The rain is coming. Question is, will it spread to the rest of the circuit? Nico a little bit slow out of the final corner, and you can hear just how heavily the rain is coming down now. Will these guys think about going for another set of wet weather tires? Do they think it's worth the time gain? Kasman will be coming back into the pits now, but of course he was already on the intermediates, so he will be going back to the wet weather tires. Could be good for him, though, if he's able to make up the time lost from the extra pit stop. And you can see just how much water has been put back down on this track after that spike of rain, we'll call it. Very heavy shower. Nico really seems to be struggling through that Les Combes section. I think he lost almost a second through there that time through. I need to remind myself to keep a camera on him through there. Yellow flag is out. What for? I don't know. No one's gone. If someone did spin, they certainly recovered fairly quickly. It wasn't either of our leaders. Oh, Mike has gone for a spin. Oh, no. And he's picked up the damage. Of course, we saw him. He pit onto the dry weather tires. And then that downpour of rain came. And Mike's going to lose a whole chunk of time now. Oh, no. And it was going so well for him. So he will lose 6th place. He should be able to hold on to... Yes, that's a minute back. Over a minute back to Kasman in 8th. So he should be able to hold on to 7th here. Ryan is into the pits. He's going to go for those fresh tires. Gonna try something different to now our 2 leaders. Nico has stayed out, as has Sanchez. They will both continue on their current set of wet weather tires. Ryan is now out on intermediates. Does he think that's it for the heavy rain? If he can keep it within the dry line here, he should be much faster on these intermediates. Now, if Nico decides to follow him in on this strategy, can he prevent himself from losing the 4, maybe 5-second lead that he had over Ryan as he completes this lap? Ryan's got to be careful, though, because he does have lap traffic in the way. That could be a saving grace for Nico. Ryan wasn't able to get through there as quickly as he realistically would have liked. 23 seconds the gap. Pit lane delta is about 20 or so. Blackadilly into the pits. I would imagine this will be for a new set of intermediates. Rybird, just through keeping his nose clean this entire time, is now up into 4th. So a great showing from him. Sanchez will likely need to pit this time by just because his tires are in such poor condition. Nico coming up to the bus stop. Does he pit this time? He's into the pits. You saw there was quite a lot of rain just then. Will Nico go for a set of full wets? Or does he go to inters? Ryan has made it work so far. Both the leaders are in the pit lane. And I think Ryan might be able to jump. Nico's going to be slow on exit. That lead has definitely come down, though. 2 seconds the gap. Nico's still getting up to speed. Ryan will be closing the entire way up this straightaway. 1.8. Look, it probably will be about 1.3 the gap by the time they get to the end of this straight. Maybe 1.5. So he took about 3 seconds out of Nico by pitting that lap sooner. I can't help but think he would be just that little bit closer, if not for the lap car that got in the way for a brief moment on his outlap. But still a great amount of time recovered, and now he can see the leader out in front of him through the halo. 1.6 the gap as we have 14 laps to go. Did Nico go wide? Nico is wide! Nico's gone off! And the gap's going to come down to under half a second. Nico's still trying to get excess water off his tires. Gotta keep it inside the relative dry. And here comes the rain again! Both of these drivers will need to be very careful. Everyone's going to be crawling if this heavy rain persists yet again. They should be able to hold on to it for now, as it looks like they might be coming up to lap 6th place here. But Nico running wide at the Lafania chicane. Oh my goodness, that has brought Ryan right back into this. Ryan taking a very wide line. I think he missed his braking zone just a little bit. Back up to a second. Nico, however, still hasn't used any of his overtake. Not that he's necessarily going to want to in these conditions, but, you know, he has it at his disposal should he need it. Ryan had a much better run up through Erosion Radion again. Ryan peeking to the inside, under 4/10 set for a moment, still under around about half a second. The gap flip-flopping with every entry and exit to these corners. as they will be coming up. I believe that is Alex in front of them, and it is. Alex will be getting the blue flags. Where does he get out of the way? He needs to be getting out of the way. They are right there. This could hold Nico up quite a bit here. Nico is way wide. He's got to be very careful with how much water he gets on his tires. Ryan faked it to the inside, thought better of it. The battle for the lead is on. Nico lost half a second there because of the lap car. Back through Stavilo. Ryan toying with the overtake button, just trying to stay in the slipstream. Closing in. Headwind down this straight will help him out. Still flat out through Blanchemont, even with the wet weather. Thought about a look up the inside into the bus stop chicane. Not going to be able to do anything there. Who will get a better exit? Rain ending in 3 to 5 minutes, says Ivan. It will still be a little bit of time, a little bit of time before they start thinking about dry weather tires again. Another douse of rain. By douse, I mean absolute downpour. It's brief, but it certainly would have spooked them going up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Nico offline, not to pick up water onto his tires, but that's to defend. He's trying to break the slipstream. Ryan is there. He sees him in his mirrors. We've seen a titanic battle between these two all season long. Some of the most aggressive drivers on the grid. Will we see any fireworks tonight? Nico able to pull away a little bit again. This time, no lap car to hold him up as they dive down the hill through Poulon. 1.1 the gap. Nico has finally found his rhythm again. But can he pull away? 1.3 the gap. 0.4. But then as soon as they get back out onto the straights, Ryan is able to close right back in. I think Ryan's running a much lower downforce setup. Ryan's got his setup made for straight line speed at the moment. That or his gears are just much better suited for that car. He took nearly half a second out of him on that straight, and he did not use the overtake button. The AMS boys have found an absolute missile in a straight line, apparently. Under a second now. He has got a very impressive gearbox in the back of that thing. So it just looks so easy for him to be able to put the power down. No more rain through the end of the race, says Ivan. Or no more rain expected, I should say. Don't count it out completely yet, but it's looking promising to stay dry to the end. Ryan had closed in almost 7/10 in that one straightaway alone. Now, how far ahead can Nico get through these corners? If Ryan can exit La Source at about 7/10 back, I think he might have a chance up Eau Rouge and through Radion and down into Les Combes to make the overtake happen. But he's got to get close enough. He'll have the straight from Stavilo through Blanchemont down to the bus stop to close back in. This straight, well, I say straight. This quote-unquote straight here, but 1.7 back. He's going to need all of that just to get back within a second, I think. And you can see just how quickly the time starts plummeting the moment they get up into the higher gears. 175 compared to 173. Ryan's got about 3 mile an hour on Nico alone. And he was not close enough that time to be within slipstream range. Ryan's now already starting to search for water. The track is very close to being dry, or to having a dry line ready. At least in a few sections of this track. 9/10, 8/10 the gap. Plummeting down on the straights. He's in the slipstream now. 170, nearly 180 miles an hour. Closest to just about half a second back. I'm using the wrong buttons. That is Sanchez passing Alex. That is not for position. I thought that might have been Rybird for a second, but it was not. Yeah, Nico has finally started to pull away. Ryan has got to stay close enough through the corner, through this middle sector. This has been Nico's strong suit the entire race. Now just 10 laps to go. Do either of these two think about a pit stop? Do they think if the track gets close enough to dry weather tires, do they think about it? And then if so, will they have enough time to go and recatch the other if it stays dry? Mike is in. Grove is back into the pits. This will be for dry weather tires. Just under 2 seconds. All that separates them with about 10 to go. Oh, Ryan's deep. Ryan went deep into the corner. That's going to cost him half a second. Maybe a little more. If someone is going to think about pulling the trigger onto dry weather tires, I think Ryan would be the one to attempt it. Ryan has nearly got a pit stop in hand, or is about 7 seconds away from having a pit stop in hand back to Sanchez. If Sanchez were to pit onto dry weather tires, that would open the window for Ryan to do so as well. Yeah, 2.3 the gap that time. Nico still hasn't used any of the overtake. Now with the track starting to dry out, he's becoming a little more comfortable. He's starting to pull away again. Oh, he snapped it! Oh my god! Nico with the save and a half out of the no-name corner. Let's take a look at that. Gonna watch on board as he comes through down the hill into Rivage. I said he was getting a lot more comfortable, got a lot of water on his tires using the curb. Very eager on the throttle though. .3 the gap, he's still pulling away. It's dropped under that first bar if they can stay within the dry weather if they can stay on the driest parts of the circuit. Track perhaps not just ready for dry weather tires quite yet. Still a few sections that might be a little bit too scary. Certainly this front straightaway and down through the endurance pit lane section looks dry enough. We'll see about Eau Rouge and Radion here. If they can avoid the curbs, I think Eau Rouge and Radion are fine. The Kemmel Straight will also be fine when they're not picking up water. So it's really the middle and second half of the lap that, as long as it's dry enough, it might be feasible to make a pit stop here. But then would they have enough time to catch back up to the other? That's the real question. Castman is in. He was running out pretty much on his own, though. Yeah, he's kind of in a race alone with Alex, so unless he's able to make something happen, I doubt he's gonna do anything. A lot of the drivers further in the back are making pit stops onto dry weather tires. Larson has been in the pits for a while, as is Supa. They are both out. So it is just the top 9 left still running. Grove is out on dries. Castman out on dries. Alex has already pit and is out on dries. Quackadilly is in. Rybird is in. Both of them will be going on to dries. Rybird needed to because his tires were not going to last any longer. Sanchez, he's about 14 back from Ryan. If the top 3 are going to make a pit stop, he would probably be the first one to do it. Because I doubt either of the top 2 want to risk losing track position and needing to get around him first if they were to make something happen. Both of them now go around Rybird, who's out onto the dry weather tires, but is now technically a lap down. So this should be a good indication as to just how much faster those dry weather tires could be. So we see both Ryan and Nico picking up water at the moment. Now let's watch and see what Rybird does here. Does he have the speed to get back around Ryan here? If he has the speed to get around Ryan, that would be a very solid... oh, never mind. Track's completely dry through these corners. Just how much faster is it, though? I think Rybird is just holding back. He doesn't want to be involved in this battle for the lead. Nico has pulled back to a 4-second gap, which is what it was prior to the previous round of pit stops. I think if Ryan's going to pull a fast one on Nico and stop for dry weather tires, he needs to do so now. Does Ryan go into the pits here? We'll watch Nico, see if he decides to try it, although with how much he's picking up water, I would doubt it. No, Nico will stay out. Does Ryan jump into the pits? No, he's also going to stay out. Nearly 15 seconds back now to Sanchez. Does he go into the pits here? Plenty of time back to Rybird. He's almost got a full lap on Rybird here. But no, he is going to stay out on inters. I believe that is 6 laps to go now. Rybird is just all over the back bumper of Ryan. Just doesn't look like he's trying to make the overtake happen at the moment, though. He's on the overtake button. And he is going to look to the outside, and he is going to go through. So he will go through. He doesn't want to be held up by the intermediate tires anymore. Now 5.5 seconds back from Nico. I think as long as Nico can hold on to these tires, he should be fine to the end. He's just got to be careful to not lose the back end if the tires start to overheat. Because there is not much water left for these drivers to cool their tires off with. Nico doesn't seem to even be bothering with the wet weather stuff anymore, or with the standing water anymore. Six laps to go. He stays out again. If Ryan's going to pull a fast one, he's got to come into the pits very soon. He doesn't. I think he might be fairly content with running these tires out to the end here. That said, he's running 8 seconds a lap slower than he would do on dries. With how low the fuel is, we saw that they were running 52s earlier. And that was on heavy fuel. The gap is not 8 seconds yet. I think if Ryan pitted here, 8 seconds a lap, yeah, he would need to pit now. He would need to pit now if he was going to make up the time. This would be the crossover lap. If you stay out here, you're going to the end on intermediates because you won't make up the time again. But if you pitted for dry weather tires on this lap, I think Ryan is still close enough to Nico that he could make the overtake happen. Yeah, they're running nearly 2-minute lap times, and the track is so dry they could easily run back down in the 52s again. They're losing about 8 seconds a lap each time they stay out now. Question is, does Nico pit? Nico is in a horrible position here. He knows that if he pits, Ryan will likely just stay out and try to defend. But if he doesn't pit and Ryan does, then he's a sitting duck for when Ryan potentially catches him back up again. Do they come into the pits? Nico, very wide. No, he's going to stay out. Does Ryan pit? If he wants any shot at the win, no, he stays out. They're both going to go to the end on these inters. All of these lap cars are going to be flying by them, getting their laps back. Yeah. Ivan, I don't really know why they're not pitting. 8 seconds a lap. It only takes 3 laps to make that up. And then the rest, yeah. If Ryan could have pit that lap and he would have been able to make it. That last time by for Ryan should have been do whatever he doesn't do. Unfortunately, it looks like they seem fairly content to just stay out at the moment. So it looks like this will most likely end up being our finishing order. Top 3, all kind of just in a world of their own at the moment. So, barring anything interesting, anything tragic happening, I should say, this will likely be your finishing order. Nico picking up his first win on the season since, I believe, Daytona? Oh, Nico! I said something tragic happening. It nearly happened there. That might have been 90 degrees sideways to the track. Holy. Huge slide out of Stavolo. Does he pit? It's still 3 to go. So it would still be faster for him to pit here, but he doesn't. He's gonna stay it out on these dry weather tires, as is Ryan. Sanchez, are you gonna? No? No, he's staying out. Rybird is a lap back at the moment. Yeah, Rybird has had a fantastic run today. Full props to him. So 3 laps to go. And at this point, we're kind of just keeping our eye out on these top 3. Sanchez does have the best tires of the top 3. The problem is he's 20 seconds back from Nico. Not really gaining. Ryan has already had all of the lap cars go around him, so he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Nico still has a few that need to get around him here, as he will become to 2 to go. Does he have the snap of oversteer again? No. And frankly, at this point, I would imagine he might just have it in the lean fuel setting, just trying to help conserve his tires to get to the end at this point. Going to be a repeat of Spain in terms of how little tread is going to be left on those tires. It might also end up being the first race that our winner has not used a single bit of overtake throughout the race. Nico still with, I don't know if it's, I don't know these cars well enough. I don't know if it's a battery or if it's a boost button overspooled the turbo sort of deal. But he has not touched the overtake button all day today. 7.2 the gap. Actually got a little bit of slipstream help from Quackadilly there. Quackadilly, I will also say, props to him, running in 5th place. Great result from him. As Nico's going to let Mike go through. And now just under 7 seconds the gap. So Ryan actually gained about a second on that previous lap. Do they have the can they make these tires last to the end here? Lap and a half to go. 6.5 the gap. And you would imagine that unless something crazy happens, Nico should be home free here. But he's got to be very careful about those rear tires. Well, okay. There goes that chance of not using the overtake button to the end. Okay. Could have been a cool stat, but no. He's going to use it now. And I suppose he'll try to go for fastest lap on the intermediates? Yeah, Sanchez would have won if he pitted for slicks 5 laps ago. The problem is he didn't. Although I will add, if he pit for slicks, I would have imagined Ryan would have jumped in as well to cover that off, and probably both of them at that point to cover off. But I mean, even still, an 8-second per lap advantage, even on the outlap, the gap that Nico has to Ryan right now would be surmountable. Even still, they will work their final lap of the race. Personal best opening sector for Nico, now that he's actually using the overtake button. Just a lot more overspeed for him. But he's got to make sure that tire can get to the end here. Oh, as Ryan takes to the runoff area. Yeah, he's really struggling for rear grip here. And will pick up a half-second penalty to boot. So we see Ryan is struggling with the tires. Question is, will Nico? Turning those things into interslicks, as we like to call them. The point where the intermediate tire kind of rubs out all of the grooving on the carcass of the tire, or of the tread of the tire, just shedding it down to the carcass alone. And you can see just how much he's crawling. He is 10 seconds a lap down on his personal best. I'm sorry, it's just... I mean, congratulations to him, because he's only got, realistically, 3 corners to go here. But Either one of these other drivers could have easily won had they decided to go into the pits. But nevertheless, he will round the final corner, and Nico Arrigata crosses the line to win it. On our return from the summer break, he will win it at Spa. And he was running slower than he was on full wet tires. Alex will come home next car across the line, first car a lap down in 6th. And Ryan will exit the final corner gingerly, 23 seconds back from Nico in 2nd. Sanchez actually caught up quite a treat there. Halved the gap from him to Ryan on that last lap. Got down to 6 seconds. Rybird, props to him. Huge congratulations, assuming he doesn't bin it on this final lap of the race. Excuse me. Well fought performance from him. Didn't put a foot wrong all day. Didn't quite have the pace of the leaders, but he certainly knew how to keep the car underneath him, and frankly, that's all he really needed today. We started with 14. We finish technically with 9 still running. We have a few cars retired in the pit lane who haven't left the session. But a huge congratulations to Rybird. 4th place, best result for him on the season. Just shy of the podium, unfortunately. He will come home to round out his race, and then Quackadilly, not too far behind, will come home and round out our top 5. An interesting one, to say the least. I will certainly have a few questions for our podium sitters in a few moments, so don't go anywhere, folks. That will do it for the on-track action, but stick around. Post-race interviews coming in just a few moments. To invite him. We should hopefully get post-race interviews. I believe I sent invites out, so hopefully we'll have drivers joining momentarily. All right. Just waiting on our other 2 podium sitters to join us, and then we'll get post-race interviews started. There we go. Okay. Just give me a moment.
Yep.
All right. Sanchez, if you can unmute and just talk into the mic, just so we can make sure that the broadcast can hear you.
Yeah.
If you could just keep talking for a moment.
Do I sound good?
I mean, you're good on my end. I just got to make sure the broadcast can hear you.
No, because my headphones are kind of broken, so I don't know if that messes up the mic.
Okay, yeah, you're there. You're just a little bit quiet. See if I can increase your volume at all. Yeah, I can. Okay. All right. Can you give us one more mic check?
1, 2.
All right, good enough. Alrighty. Post-race interviews, Spa Round 12 Scorpio Superformula Series. Welcome back, folks. Post-race interviews here for Round 12 here at Spa. We're going to start off third place, as always. Sanchez, great result for you. I believe this is your first time on the podium this season. Bit of a chaotic race, of course, with the intermittent weather here and there. Tell us how easy or difficult was it for these drivers to keep the tires under them, and then knowing sort of kind of dictating how heavy the rain was going to be, because I know the radar can sometimes be a little bit temperamental on GT7.
Well, I mean, I'd say it was pretty difficult since I almost lost the car like 3 times. But I did see, the rain is inconsistent. It looked like it was about to rain earlier, but then the wind sort of just pushed it away. But all in all, I'm glad I made it back in one piece.
All right. And obviously finishing third place, I believe one of your best result on the season is a good haul of points as well. Should do you very well in the Drivers' Championship. Do you have any goals moving forward as we begin the final 6 races of the season? Any sort of positioning you're looking to get into in the championship standings, or are you just happy to get as high up the table as you can?
Well, I'm just content that I could finish well. I mean, I'm not really looking for a title fight, but just no other comment there.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Obviously, fantastic result. Hopefully, we'll see you back here on the podium a few more times before the season is out. Moving on to our second place finisher, Ryan. Another trip to the podium once again. Definitely a hectic race we saw once again. A couple questions, though, toward the end of the race. Obviously, track was drying out quite a bit, and it looked like it was getting to the point where, with about 7 or so to go, drivers might have been able to pit onto dry weather tires and gain on those still running on the intermediates. Was that a thought that crossed your mind as to whether or not you'd be able to potentially pit a little bit early, get onto the dry weather tires, and hopefully make the gap back up?
At first, it was the plan to come in around 7 to go, because I saw it was drying fast, and just to come in and get those dry tires, because we would have been doing, the track was still semi-damp, so maybe 155s, but we were going to be doing way faster at the end. But I was told by other parties around me that staying out might be the better option, because I may not have the time to get that time lost back in the pits, because the pit lane was still soaked at this point. You're losing 4 seconds just on the pit exit, because the AI is not going to accelerate in the pit lane. But it's a regret now that I did not take the dries, just because I think I would have caught Nico. But either way, even if I went in for the dries, Nico would have just came in the next lap, and if anything, I get the undercut, and he has a lot more boost than me. So it would be closer for sure if I did that.
Oh, it certainly looked interesting, because from our calculations, it looked like it was probably about 8 seconds a lap you would have been able to gain, and even with the extra time in the pit lane, even the outlap alone would have probably put you ahead of Nico had you made the pit stop. So is that something that, looking back on, you might consider for later races if there's any more wet weather to come, or is just something that you're going to have to live with?
A bit of both. It's more, yeah, it's something I have to keep an eye out for now. Like, the main culprit for not coming in was it was so late in the race. Like, I wasn't sure if I'd get that time back. But it is a regret that I do have not coming in. So that's racing, though.
Fair enough. It is racing indeed. Still a very solid result. P2 on the day. Another fantastic podium finish, and hopefully we'll see you back in hopefully multiple of the next 6 rounds still to come. And then, of course, our race winner, Nico, fantastic result. Again, qualified on pole position in the dying breaths of the qualifying session. Ran what seemed to be a very clean and didn't use a very clean race. Didn't use any of the overtake until the final lap and a half. Was that just a plan of yours to just hold on to the overtake until that late, or were you just choosing to use less of it to help conserve a bit more of the car?
Hey Blair, nice to be back on the podium and on the races. The plan actually was that I just needed to keep the pace, the car on the track. It was hard on every corner on the rain, so I just didn't focus on losing using the overtake button or to gain more time or anything else. I just was trying to keep the car on the track and be as consistent as possible. I had quite a few almost incidents and that were pretty horrible in the moment, but yeah, I just wanted to keep the car on the track, and then if I had the time to use the overtake on a easy way without any preoccupation, I would use it. But yeah.
All right. And as you said, definitely tricky conditions out there. We saw you a couple times definitely lose the back end. 2 very impressive saves we did see on the broadcast, especially late in the running. Got very sideways coming out of No Name, and then, of course, on the run through Stavilo as well. Would you say that the setup you had, it also looked like you were running a bit higher downforce compared to some of your competitors. Would you say that made it a bit easier for you to be able to save the car in those conditions, or was it just a choice of yours to kind of have a little more stability in the car for knowing that the race was going to be wet?
I really went for a setup that was going to be better on the second sector. It wasn't my goal to make it as stable as it was on dry pace or on mid inters or something like that. It was really tricky on wet, but I was trying to gain all my time on sector 2. I know that the car with lower downforce wasn't able to turn that well on those turns, so that was my only goal. And then the stability came at the end with just being more careful on throttle and everything else.
All right, and then final question for you. Obviously, one notable absence we had here today, Super S2K, was a no-show today. So potential big swing in the point standings, of course, with you winning today. Still second, I believe you're still second in the standings, but you would have taken a big chunk out of that 20-point advantage that Super S2K had. Title fight still on the cards? Do you think you can win it?
Absolutely, that's the goal. That's why I'm here.
All right, well, you heard it here first. It is still the goal, says Nico. That will do it for us here today. Thank you all to our 3 podium sitters for your answers to the questions, and then of course to all of your viewers back home. Be sure to tune in September 13th. The Green Hell, we're heading over to the Nordschleife for what should be a very chaotic yet entertaining race. I've been Scorpio Blade. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Goodbye.